Hey y'all, welcome back to Unicorn Sim Vibes. Today, I wanted to record a video because I've been realizing the people who are sharing the same frequency are all grieving. We have all been grieving, but it has been hitting us at different times and for different reasons. Some people are experiencing deaths in the family. Some people are experiencing separation from loved ones, relationships, leaving work, starting a new chapter. But globally and energetically, we have been grieving. And the grieving process has not been easy. But what grieving process is, you know? And of course, I wanted to come and share some context around it and why it feels like we've gone through so many different periods of healing and of grieving. But this time around, it just feels so different. It feels so much more heavier. And I believe from my own journey, from my own experiences, from my conversation with my guides, I believe that it hit so hard for those of us who believe in astrology. You know, our new year just began when spring hit. And so this is really truly the start of our new year. It wasn't in January like we thought, you know, with the rest of the world. And to me, there's several fucking new years, if you ask me. That's monumental to your journey. But specifically this one, going into this new astrological year, new year, we really have now officially stepped into the 5D and as a base for Earth, not individually, you know, but as a base for Earth. And how I'm looking at it, right, it's like let me just speak for me. I have quantum leaped over and over, but it's almost like your surroundings may give off the illusion that it's the same, but it's not. Like, you feel so different. Like, I feel completely different than what I did before. And I just been having so many magical experiences. And honestly, it's almost like those of us that's really feeling it, you know, if you've been watching my videos, if you've been following my journey, then you've known that I have signed up to be the generational cycle breaker of my lineage and really be the first person that chooses to heal and break the repeated norms that's no longer serving me. And that shit has been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And I think that I've continued to go down this road, right, of unpacking, of healing, of growing, of shedding, of purging. And what I've realized, right, is that sometimes I can be so hard on myself, like, well, should I be further along in my journey? Should I know more? Should I do more? Should I experience this? Should I experience that? And it's like, this grieving process that I'm experiencing right now hasn't just been me grieving the last year and a half since I walked away from, you know, the working world in the traditional sense. It has been my entire life, my entire previous life. Before I fully stepped into the 3D is what I'm actually grieving. And it's not easy. For those of us who are the generational cycle breakers, it's not easy. You have to really understand and understand that we are a new blueprint for our lineage. We are the very first, a very new, a very different blueprint. And there is no comparison, there is no cheat code, there is no model or guidance outside of the inner guidance and the guidance from your spirit team that can even lead you to where you're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? And even where you're trying to go is literally made up as you go along. It's literally in each moment, in each present moment. That's how you are creating and adding on to the blueprint. This video is gonna be probably very fucking confusing. But I don't think it will be to the people who's on my frequency. To those who's not, you may not understand what the fuck it is that I'm saying, but it's okay. You know, at least you can look at it, look towards it as a guide for when you get to this place. But the best way that I can describe how being a blueprint feels is almost like, you know, the people who suffer with diseases and illnesses that they feel internally but really can't be seen externally. So people can't really grasp what it is that they're going through and how this has really been impacting their life. And not like in a negative way, but just how impactful it is, how it really does, how it really feels internally. And the one example that keeps coming to my mind that can semi-explain what I'm saying is like the autoimmune disease, lupus. You know, majority of what they feel, the most painful experiences are in, you know, it's felt internally. It's not really, you can't really see it externally. And so people can't sometimes understand the severity of what they are experiencing. Like, yeah, you may have some minor side effects and you know, experiences that can be seen like bruising and, you know, maybe like someone being fatigued, but the amount of pain that their body is under and the experience that they're having, it can only be felt for them. And that's how it is on your journey. That's why you should never compare your journey to anyone else's. Just like, okay, yes, we're all sharing the same frequency, but all of our blueprints are different. We're all going to the same fucking place of enlightenment and, you know, really raising our vibration and our frequency. However, it's going to be completely different because we're creating our own reality and it's step by step, you know? So what I have been seeing, I've been seeing a lot. I've been seeing a lot. I've been feeling a lot. I've been experiencing a lot. And I'm really trying to find the words to put into context everything that has been going on during this fucking grieving process for me. So I've known that I've been grieving for a while now, and it's been off and on. But like I said, this time has felt so different, and I like to always make sure, you know, that I'm transmuting as much energy as I possibly can to go towards the things that I want to create. So about a week or two ago, I decided to do two mushroom trips, but they were both going to be what I thought different experiences because I wrote a petition for a particular reason, to gain some clarity and to step fully into the highest version of myself. Because along this healing journey, especially the last year and a half, I've been in heavy isolation, heavy hermit mode, meaning I haven't really been in the world. You know, only certain people have had contact with me. I've spent majority of my days alone and in solitude. Like, I go days without speaking to a single person outside of my damn self. And that was necessary for me, right? So back to this mushroom trip experience. I purposely wanted to try 2 different experiences. So the first time I did it, because I don't want to share too many details because they were intimate experiences, but dope experiences at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So the first one, I decided to do illegal mushrooms. And the trip started out feeling like a trip. And then it did not. It just felt like I was just in my regular conscious mind. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't take enough because I ain't want to OD. You know, like I just wanted to test it out, especially since this was a new brand that I was working with. This wasn't the typical brand that I normally use. And then I knew I had a trip scheduled for later on in that week. And though I took the real deal, the real deal dried in about 3 grams, which was more than I normally take. And again, it started out feeling like I was about to have a trippy experience, and I did not. And so this story, I probably had to do another video with an actual story time with the people I did the trips with to give some more insight on what it is, because the story is not going to make all that much sense, but this is how I was able to put it together. And that's why I like to share with you guys what it is that I did to get to where the fuck I'm at now. So I realized these, and I'm like, okay. Now I wrote a petition, and the petition was for both of those trips. So I said, okay, whenever I'm writing a petition, I have an intention in mind, but I realize that I'm channeling, like my higher self is channeling through me, and you know, really writing out all that I need that I don't know I fucking need to experience for the trips. And so I was like, let me reread, you know, what the hell I wrote down, because this shit is crazy. And what it led me to see was that I specifically said that I wanted to experience myself as the spiritual teacher that I am, but in my conscious mind. And I gave my guides full permission to alter my third eye along with my regular eyes, my human eyes, so that I can gain clarity and witness and experience it for myself. This greatly impacted my trips and the people who decided to trip with me, because when I read my petition to really set my intentions for my trips, which is what I always do, they both was like, oh, you know, well, it resonates with me too, so let me go ahead and you know, once they said that, they entered into my energy field, and my petition became our fucking petition to a degree. So I say that to say, the thing that I realized after the trip, because it's not just when I'm doing a trip that I gain my clarity, it's always the days, my friend calls it the afterglow, it's always the days afterwards. And I had decided to do some candle magic to follow up with that, because that trip was like the craziest, trippiest trip that I've ever fucking experienced, but through my conscious mind. And I've never had that experience before. That's why I said I'm gonna do a separate video on that. So I'm kicking in with my guys. I'm going back into isolation so that I can understand and unpack what these 2 trips meant and why. Like, I get it that I was in my conscious mind, but what does that mean? You know, what the fuck? So I then decided, like I said, to do the candle magic. And like I said, my 7-day candles, because my magic is increasing, they burn in 3 days now. So, excuse me. So I said, all right, I will know exactly how to put this shit all together. So after it finished burning, I remember having like this deep cry, like this deep release, but not feeling like, I was telling my friend, like I kept feeling indifferent. Like I didn't feel happy, I didn't feel sad, I didn't feel mad, I didn't feel, you know, I didn't feel anything. I just was it wasn't like I was neutral, but it was almost like I was feeling everything at the same time. And so I'm like, all right, guys, like, what the hell does this mean? You know? And I said, okay, is there more work that I need to be doing? And they kept telling me, like, you've healed everything. You don't need to heal anything else. You need to just grieve and allow yourself to feel. And so being in the 5D state, that's the state of now, the presence of now. And so in that moment, you're just really observing. You're being the best observer. So I'm just observing all of these feelings. I'm allowing all of these emotions to come through me. And what I'm realizing, because remember, well, you probably don't know, but when I decided to do the trips, it was around the eclipse in the Mercury retrograde. So of course, Mercury retrogrades, I like to look at it as echoes. It likes to echo things from the past. And so old people started showing up, old memories started happening. I started to dream about old people that I ain't fucking talked to in goddamn years. And I said, all right, it's showing me, right, the energy that these people have held, the energy and the space of the experiences that I have gone through. And so I'm like, all right, but I'm observing, right? There's nothing for me to go and do. My ego wants me to go and heal more, wants me to go do more shadow work. There is nothing left for me to fucking do. So, but I'm just feeling all these feelings because I'm in the midst, I'm really at that end peak of grieving it. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do with this, besides just observe it? So I did nothing. I just sat in it. And I just observed it because it's nothing to do. It's nothing to do. That's the thing. We're always looking for it. And that was the thing, right, that kept coming up for me was I'm so used to doing something. Like I'm so used to, remember I told you about the echoes, right? So the old parts of me of always being heavy in my masculine energy of action, of doing, of performing, that was echoing back to me. And again, like I said, I wasn't doing anything. I just observed it. I wanted to do it, but I did not because it was nothing for me to fucking do. Then I'm sitting there and I'm seeing how much work I have done along my journey. And that's where I relate to the people with like the invisible diseases. They like to call it. It's just a term they use. Because from the outside, people can see my glow. People can see, the energy that I hold, if you understand. But nobody really understands the level of healing I have fucking done to keep adding on to this blueprint. And it's literally been walking blindly with only trusting how I feel and ignoring everything that I see. Is the best way to describe it. But the thing that it echoed back to me that stuck out the most was how much I have been the spiritual teacher in my conscious mind and my everyday life and every single job I've held and every single relationship, experience, friendship, doesn't matter. In all of the areas that I have shared my energy, I have showed up as that teacher. But why it echoed it to me was because I had to grieve every single fucking rejection, every time I used my gifts and it wasn't received well because people couldn't see what I was doing, or because they are wounded, they cannot fathom that you're just showing up with love. Even after people betrayed me, even after people hurt me, even after people, really just stepped all over my fucking gifts, it created doubt in me. It created this, and this is what led me, my higher self, subconsciously wrote this petition, right? So that I could see and understand during my trips how I have already been this spiritual teacher, but where this resistance was coming through was because I had not fully grieved. I healed those parts, but the grieving process is always the final piece, because it's when you transmute it and it comes out of your body, when that energy is now moved around, like, because it's almost like every person, right? that couldn't understand my gifts or rejected my energy because my gift saw too deeply into them, it doesn't fucking matter. No matter what spectrum they are, they fall on it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. What made me have that hard, deep cry, right, was the growth that I saw in myself. It was fighting fire with fire is easy. Getting your lick back is easy. Wishing people the same energy they gave to you, that's easy. The hard part, which is those of us who have been breaking these generational fucking cycles, which are those of us who have been the new blueprint of our lineage, what has been so fucking hard, the real fucking part that's hard, is getting to that edge to where you could meet people with that same energy, but you don't. And our guides never let us go too far deep into that. We have gone through the shadows of ourselves, the deepest and darkest parts of ourselves, but we never match the energy back with the people that have hurt us. And that takes so much fucking courage. That takes so much fucking discernment. That takes so much emotional intelligence to know that I am not going to sit there and do that, because if I turn around and I match your energy and I give you back the energy that you gave me, I'm doing it to myself. That makes no fucking sense. Why would I do it? I get that, okay, instant gratification. I get that, all right, a little sense of, okay, I got my lick back, but you did not. What you did was now you have that energetic debt that you now have to balance out, because karma doesn't understand good and bad. It understands high vibration, low fucking vibration. And when you go match that energy, when you go give that shit back, you're matching low vibration. And that impacts your creative ideas. That impacts you spiritually ascending. That impacts you keeping your heart open. That shit made me fucking, it made me really just like grieve all over again in the midst of grieving already. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Because when we have been healing and growing and evolving, we don't sometimes really see fully the full picture of how we chose to show up with love, how we keep choosing to show up in our higher selves, even when in the moment it don't seem like it's fucking serving us, but it does. It does every goddamn time. Every time. And now, right, it's like Spirit is showing us all of the things that we had to go through to get to this place, because it hasn't been fucking easy. It hasn't been light work. It hasn't just been, it is not for the fucking weak at all. It's not for the weak. And that is why we're purging so much, so fucking much. But it helped me see how it's now time for me to come out of hermit mode. I then became comfortable because I've spent a year and a half. I spent a year and a half in hermit mode, the first time ever in my life. The first time ever in my life. And now I'm at the stage where internally and individually, I am moving from the 5D to the 6D. And if you watch my video, my first video on the 9 dimensions of consciousness, I said that my base energy was between a 6D and a 5D, but I didn't go into detail as to why my ass wasn't completely in a 6D, because I knew that I wasn't, but I didn't really know why. And that was also a part of why I wrote that petition when I was having those mushroom trips, because everything is fucking connected. I knew that I already created the life that I want to experience with Spirit. We have gone over it time and time the fuck again, but there's still so much that's open about it, because I'm not trying to cap myself off. Every day I'm growing. Every day I'm different. I don't know who the fuck I'm gonna be next goddamn month. So all I focus on is how I want to feel. And that's free, full of fucking love, creative, and full of compassion. Full of compassion, genuine compassion. So that I can continue, well, I won't have to, but before, as I'm grieving, continuing to finish this grieving fucking process, and as I kept getting all of these echoes of all of the experiences that created doubt in me, all of the experiences that made me dim my fucking light of how I show with my gift, because I was placed in people's lives to test them. I've said this time and time again. However, because those of us that's living as a blueprint, we're split. Half of us, we understand, well, we were split because now in the 5D, we're just completely our higher selves. But up until now, we were split with being that half human, half spiritual, evolved fucking being. And being split in that way is what allowed us to go up to that edge, but never fucking cross it. Because we know how that energy feels. But we can put that shit down because we've healed everything that we needed to heal in order for us to now experience the base energy of 5D. Whew, that was a lot. That was a lot, y'all. And I don't even know if this fucking video is making damn sense. I'm just saying everything that's coming to my mind, that spirit is giving me. It's time for me, though. It's time for me to retire my initiation process and all of the healing that I'm used to doing. You know, it's time for me to retire that, to fully step into the 6D. And that scares the fuck out of me because I found comfort in healing. I found comfort in, shadow work. I found comfort in my isolation of being in hermit mode. But my truest purpose is to continue being a student, a forever student, and now a forever teacher in my conscious mind, And in order for me to do that, I am trusting myself to know that I've healed enough to not repeat the same cycles. I've healed enough to know exactly who I am and the divine partners and like-minded individuals that should share my energy and my space. I've done that. But let's be honest. I have to be fucking honest in saying, if up until now, the old identity of me was used to having these experiences of sharing my gift, whether it was subconscious or not, sharing my gifts and them not being received well, as already operating as a fucking earth angel and damn spiritual teacher. But I have to, that's what I'm grieving. It's because that's no longer my reality. And I know it's no longer my reality because since I've been having these, even before I started having these trips, the people that I have been meeting, the experiences that I have been having, the conversations that have been taking place, they are all manifestations that I have asked for. And this is why I said, I've been doing everything that I needed to do to heal myself internally so that internally I am ready. Internally, I can hold the space and the energy of the things that are materializing in my world. And I've come to the end of that. But because I'm so used to being in it, I was having a hard time letting it go. I was having a hard time trusting myself to take this leap of faith again and again, because every time I get to one of these major ass grieving processes, I'm about to quantum leap in a big ass way. Not saying the small ways don't matter, because we're leaping every fucking day. We're manifesting every day. But the real big ass quantum leaps, I know that my life completely will be different. Like, it will be completely different. And that scares me because this is a different that I don't know. This is a different that I feel is going to be so amazing. But I don't have enough time experiencing that than I do experiencing the things that I have outgrown and no longer serve me. And that's how it feels every time you ascend. That's how it feels every time you come into another version of full integration, right? The old versions of you, they are holding on for dear life because it doesn't want to have an ego death, but it needs to have that fucking ego death, which is why it throws everything at you, which is why you have these echoes of the past, you have echoes of old experiences, you have echoes of old energy that you've already healed, but you have to now fucking grieve it. And that grieving process, the biggest thing that, you can do is to surrender. And surrender is not easy because when you grieving, you don't know when those damn emotions going to hit. You don't know when you got to go take your ass a fucking nap or go for a walk or go call a friend. You don't know. You don't know. It could be in the midst of you having something else that you have going on. But that's where you have to surrender. You have to surrender to that process. And those of us who are the blueprint, we have to surrender and continue to surrender and continue to surrender. And I've gotten used to it always having to be more work that needs to be done and being okay with that, right? But when you really move to that 5D base and up, you realize there's no more healing that needs to be done because you've already dismantled the belief systems that kept you stuck. You've already released the energy that no longer serves you. You've already separated from the people who cannot come to fuck with you. So you don't have to heal in the same way. That's not to say that you won't still have to alchemize things and transmute energy, but you don't have to heal in that way anymore because you've already fucking done it. And that can then become an addiction, and that's what I was feeling like. Hold up now, am I addicted to just fucking healing? But what it is it's changing into a different way. I'm now being the spiritual teacher that is going to be teaching and guiding how I have healed these things. Not just, okay, well, this is what I'm healing, this is what I've experienced, but how I've actually done it, how I've actually shifted it so that other people can activate the healer within them. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I've always been so patient with myself on this journey. But what is so important to me that I've never made important to me before is that I want to make sure that however I choose to be of service to the world, however I choose to share my gifts, is in a way that benefits me first. It has to, because the old identity is used to benefiting everybody else and then seeing if it's something fucking left over for me. No, I can't do that anymore. And because I don't know what the fuck that looks like, I've been extra careful with how I decide to create this for myself, how I decide to show up, the projects that I am prioritizing to work on that speaks to me. But then let's be real, because I'm not completely familiar with putting myself out there in that way, imposter syndrome comes up, me feeling like I'm not ready. Do I know enough? Am I wise enough? The fuck I am, because I'm the goddamn blueprint. I have been creating this out of my life experience. So I can trust on that. I would bet on that every fucking day. And how I know it is because every step of my life, everything that I've had to heal, everything that I've given up, all of the ego deaths that I've had to experience, the one thing that kept coming to mind is surrender. And the thing that always gets me through is that I know that I'm going to get through it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When am I going to be tired of experiencing that shit? When am I going to be tired of, doubting myself? I always go after what it is that I said that I'm going to do. And so I can trust myself, even though this is something completely different. I'm still reliable. I am still the fucking blueprint. I'm just showing up in a different way. And that's why I wanted to share this message, as confusing, as layered, as out there as it is. We're grieving the old identities. We're not them anymore. And that's okay. And we don't know who the fuck we are yet. And that's okay. All we have to know is that it's better than where the hell we were at. And we're showing up with our best selves. And that's fucking dope. That is fucking dope. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it, and I'm so deserving of it. I've done so much fucking work that people can't even fathom, and I've just been bursting with information. I've just been bursting with, all of this knowledge, and I know that I have to share it. I know that it's time for me to share it, because if I don't share it, I don't ascend. But it's important for me to share it now in the right ways, in the right rooms, to the right people, instead of the people who cannot fathom, understand, or comprehend what it is that I'm saying. That's fine. They can always, be on the sidelines peeping in. But I'm only interested in really activating the people who's ready to be their own healer and continuing to be a better healer. That's what I wanted to share today, that I'm moving through it. I'm moving through it. I always do. But it's okay to say that you're scared. It's okay to say that you don't fucking know where you're going. I haven't known where I'm going this entire time, but I know how I want to feel. And that's all that matters to me. I leave the rest up to spirit, because it's none of my damn business. And when you make it your business, then you have stress and you have worry and you have... No, I'm not doing that. The fear is always going to fucking be there, because it's the fear of the unknown. But I trust the unknown over me staying in places that I know I've outgrown. Okay? So with that being said, because my dryer just went off, I hope if anybody resonated with this message that you like, comment, share this video. And tell me one thing that you're grieving right now. Remember, I love you. We got this. And your girl is cooking up some shit. But until then, later.